This video tutorial is going to be on using InDesign. InDesign is a great program. It brings in photos and vector images and uses type efficiently to make letterhead, business cards, stationery, yearbook layouts, brochure layouts, magazine layouts. And today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this as an idea to make, we're going to replicate this layout of a magazine double page spread in InDesign. Okay. The first thing we want to do is InDesign is usually we use InDesign with picas and points because that's what graphic artists and typographers use. But since we're going to make this layout here as a full tabloid size, which is 8.5 by 11 on both these pages, that is 11 by 17. We'll go ahead and change InDesign here. So we'll go to Preferences, and there's many things you can change, spelling checkers and all types of things, but I'm going to go to Units and Increments, and I'm going to make sure these say inches. So if yours says points or picas, let's go ahead and change that to inches on both vertical and horizontal and hit OK. The next thing I want to do is make a new document. So the first thing we're going to do in InDesign is make a new document, File and New Document, okay, or Command N. We're going to have this a two-page spread for a magazine. So we're going to make 2 pages, and let's say if you know how many pages your magazine is going to be, of course you'd put all those pages in, and we're going to have page numbers. We're just going to do 1 and 2. Again, if you knew how many pages, you'd do your page numbers. Put facing pages so they're side by side, 8.5 by 11, and its orientation is vertical, portrait. So that'll be good. And then column-wise, now you want to set your columns before you get started because you could always add them later, but we want to go ahead and set them because this is a three columns of type. So I'm going to change this to 3. 1, 2, 3 columns, okay? 1/2 inch margins all the way around. So that's great all the way around, and hit OK. And now it makes an 11 by 17. Basically, think of it as a piece of paper being printed, and you'll have 2 different pages, okay? Now we're going to replicate this, and so what we need to do is we need to first make some boxes here to replicate these and put some photos in these boxes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make what's called a picture box. So we're going to take this box here, a rectangle box, and every one of the tools tells us what they are, and we're just going to use the selection tool, which is the black arrow. The white arrow is the direct select tool, and then we're going to use a type tool, and then we're going to use probably the line tool, and then a rectangular frame tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on rectangular frame tool, and I'm going to just click and drag and make a nice square box here. Okay, and you've got nice guides for that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that box with a photograph. So what I'll do is I'll take it and just go to File and Place, or Command D, and we're going to find a photo to place in here. Now I'm going to make this on this little family I've shot some pictures of here. So I'm going to place their photo in that box. So I'm going to hit Open. Now look how big the photo is. It's huge. I mean, if we take the direct select tool and move this around, you're going to see just one person's face in there. Now you're going to see these photos as being pretty pixelated. The reason they're pixelated like this is because it's going to give you just a view, a pixelated view for your work copy here. But don't worry, it's in high definition and high resolution when you're ready to go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here the autofill part of this. If I hit autofill, that photo will autofill, but of course that's a square box. I want to fill the box totally full, so I'm going to click the Fill Frame Proportionately, and then I'm going to take my white direct select tool and pull this down and get just that family right in there. Pretty cropped, pretty tight, but that's going to work. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make another box. I'm going to take a rectangle frame box. I'm going to put another one right here side, and I'm going to fill that. And what's nice about InDesign is when you get close, it shows you direction arrows. So it says you're perfectly lined up next to that, and perfectly lined up with your with your frame that you make, or your columns. Okay, we're going to fill this with color. So to do that, we're just going to take the fill. This is the fill, and this is the outline of the box. So we're just going to take the fill, click on that arrow, and I'm just going to make that a nice cyan color. Okay, that fills it right up, real easy. Now I'm going to make another picture box. Direction arrows are going to help me get that nice and straight. And then I'm going to put another picture in there. So I'm just going to go to File, Place, and we're going to place another photo here. And then I'm going to take up there and just auto-fill it, but I'm going to just fill it proportionally. Take my direct select tool and just get that where I want it. Great. So this is a family that has some wedding pictures taken, so we're going to do a fun picture there. Now, if I want to make these boxes quickly, I can just take all three here. I can just grab them all, and then I can just hold down with the selection tool. I can hold down Option and drag, and it makes copies of all three all at one time. Much quicker, much faster. I can go to this one. I'm going to fill this one with magenta. Well, I think I've got them all selected. I need to make sure one's selected at a time. There we go. Now, oh, and I did the border around. I don't want a border. No border, but the color magenta. Perfect. And then I'm going to change this photo. So I'll click on it, File, Place, and I'll find another photo to put in there. And then my direct select tool. And then I'll go grab this photo over here, File and Place, and place different photos from this photo shoot. And again, autofill. Oh, I gotta make sure I select on it. And then I'm gonna move it over a little bit and get them in there. These are nice and tight. But I can just, again, take the selection tool, grab all the boxes, hold down Option, drag on that. Now Alt on a PC. And then I can change those. Now, if I want to make these boxes like over here, I want to make the different colors. I can, they're picture boxes, they're also fill boxes. I can just fill that one with a color if I want. I got to select it by itself. So I click off of it, unselect it, and click on it alone. I'm going to fill that one with yellow. And just keep going here. Oh, I got to take the picture out of it. That's why. So I'm going to select this one, hold down Option, get it filled over there, and then I'm going to fill it. Because it was a picture was in it, so I needed to change that. And then this one here, I'm going to delete that color, and I'm going to make a picture box here. I can drag and make another one, or I can just copy this one just holding down Alt or Option, and then I can put another picture in there, just File and Place. I think you get the picture. So I'm going to maybe throw another photo in there. Now this one, I don't want to do that photo like that. I'm going to make this one large. So I'm just going to drag that photo box out here bigger. Okay. And then I'm going to autofill it. Okay, so that's kind of cute. And I'm just going to take this. So you can just make it as custom as you want. And then I'm just going to put another color photo. Maybe this one here. I'm going to delete that one and fill it with a different color. If I can get that filled here, none on that. And then this one here, I can have just some boxes. Then one more down here, one photo left. So I'm just gonna try. Oops, didn't want to do that because I want to take the direct select tool, or excuse me, just the select tool, not the direct select tool, and bring it out here. And I do a better job of this. I'm going so fast. But just pretend, okay? And then on this side, we're going to put copy. Now, again, I'm going to look at this magazine layout. Okay, there's a big copy block there. So I'm going to take my type tool, and I'm just going to make a type box here. Okay, so I take my type tool, and then I'm going to make a type box. And then I'm going to do a center justified, and with about, I don't know, 60 point, I'm going to put the Gale family. And I can make that any color I want. Of course, we've got colors we can work with on our type fonts. You know, I'll put that magenta, if you will. And of course, you can change that to any colors. And then down below, now I like to make different type boxes for headlines. So if I want to make a sub-headline, I'd rather just go ahead and just make another box for that, just so I'm not keeping all the, I like to keep things separate. And then here I'm going to say photos by Lou Crandall, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, just a tad, and I can just use this to make that a little bit bigger. And then if I want to italicize it, fonts are really fun to work with in, oops, that does the whole box. Fonts are really easy to work with in InDesign. You can just take it and I can italicize this right from here, just make it warped over here, or I can actually go select the italic, and that's probably the smartest way to do it because it's a little bit more handwritten look. Okay, pop that right in there so it looks nice. Now, I want to make a copy box to put a bunch of copy in. So I'm just going to take my type tool, select and fill that up. Now this is of course where you put the type. Let's tab. This is the Gill family. What a fun photo shoot. They truly are a great family. I'm just having fun here. And then, of course, you know, I need to have a lot of type in the type box, and I should be making some spaces, and I could add just some Greek type font, Greeking font we call it. But you know, you get the picture. So if I want to make this box any different, I can just take my selection tool and I can make it thinner. I can bring it across both lines. It's very easy to work with type, and I can bring that box smaller. I can add another photo or whatever I'd like. I'm going to put this back in, and let's have a lot more type, and you can cut and paste type in there. And then the page numbers, we can automatically add page numbers, or we could go down here and add. If this was a specialized something, we can go in here and put down like page 1 or page 2 maybe here, and we can do that manually, but we can have that automatically done if we would like. Now here's the thing, we've got all of these borders around and all these guidelines. If you want to get rid of those for a minute, it's just our view. We just click on view and go down to preview, and then we preview what it's going to look like. Okay, so it looks really fun. Again, the photos here, they're really pixelated because they're just a preview. Don't worry about that because they're really high definition. It's just because it's going to make it so they fill and work faster. Okay. Now, oh, by the way, see how these have that pink border I accidentally did? I'm glad I did that because if you wanted to put borders on, again, you've got the borders, and you can make those bigger just by clicking this, and you can add borders to it. You can also add effects to each one. I could go down and do like a drop shadow to each picture. And there's lots of effects we could do. I can have these coming from a different place. I can add a little bit of effects, and it's got a drop shadow. I can go back on effects here on drop shadow. You got lots of opportunity to make it, you know, 20%, so it's not quite as stark. If you want to fill like the whole background with a color, that's pretty easy. Just take again your color box, your rectangle box, and I'm going to bleed it out the side and the top and bottom. So bleeds are what fall off the edge. Okay, off over here and into the you know, edge here, and then of course this is called the gutter inside here, and we want to keep things out of the gutter obviously. And then if you want to fill that again, we can just go up here with color. I'm just going to make a yellow, but then I'm going to turn the opacity down of that, and then I'm going to right click to arrange it back behind. So I'm just going to arrange, send to back, and that looks really nice. Now, by the way, did you notice I was working with these in preview mode? I like to work in preview mode because I'm a visual learner and I'm a visual worker, and so I like to work in preview mode. So while I'm working, I can cruise right along and just see it without all those guidelines. But set the guidelines up first to help you, okay? And these, again, will stay in those guidelines, all right? Now, one more thing is you can always maybe add a round photo here. Let's say I take my tool, hold down on this rectangle tool and go to ellipse tool. And let's say I'm going to have a photo right here in a circle. And then I'm going to go to File and Place. And I'm going to place this black and white one in, and of course we got a fill box, so I'll just fill it, and then I'm take my selection tool, and that's kind of cute. And then I could run my type around it, like I can have this link to this next box, so I can link these boxes very easily. I'll let you do that. Now again, I need my guidelines to figure out where the box is, so you just go back up here to View, your arrow, and guides and frames and stuff. Let's just go ahead. Yeah, let's go back to normal view. Sorry. And I'm just going to, then I can make my type box, and I can see exactly where that type box needs to be again. And what's neat is you can link these type boxes from one to the other, and you can have your type go around, and we can have it run around this very easily just by selecting the box, and then we can just go to run around. And so we click on this, and now text type will run around that photograph. I can bring it right up here tight. I should make it too tight here because, oh, I hate squished pictures. You just never do that. That's a big no-no, right? That's just the picture box. I was thinking the wrong one. That's what's hard is you have all these here. But if you want your text to run around, you can have it run there, and it's going to run around the photo because now I selected on it, and I clicked on the run around right here. Wrap around. That's going to be nice. So if that box here, it will not go on that. See how it wraps around that? You know, so when you get your type there, it'll just run right around that photo, which will be a lot of fun. Okay, so InDesign is not a difficult program. There's a lot more it can do. I'm just scratched the surface on what it can do here, but that gives you a good idea of what this program can do. Go ahead and make a 2-page magazine idea. Just use as an idea, and of course we could build this box down here with a frame so easily. I know you can all figure that out, but of course we make another box. Go back to your rectangle box, make a box here for some type to be in, and then if you want a border around it, you just come right here. I'm going to do a black border, and I'm going to increase that border just by a few points, and then I can put some type in there. If I want it white inside it, I can take this out of it, or I can just go ahead and say put white back in it. And if I'd like to add some effects to it, I could add maybe a drop shadow to it. It's just really fun to work in InDesign. Have fun.